Hello, this is Erin. Welcome to another video, and welcome to another another story, another fan fiction. As you can tell from the title of this video, this is the Hermit Rescue, which is basically a lovely world in Hermitcraft fan fiction. Basically, a mash of the two worlds, sort of. It's just putting hermits inside of lovely worlds they went out of this village. Just experimenting. Chances are, most of them have never met each other. I mean, hermits haven't met Stampy, I would assume. Somehow. I guess that's theory for another day, but that's not important. Yeah, we should probably go do it. Yeah, if you haven't read the other parts, be sure to do so, and, yeah. I've gotten over the spoilers for Lovely World, but not quite. There's more spoiler. Look through the part of it is basically after this what happened in I-1. So if you want to watch that, excuse me, sheep. Basically, if you want to understand what's going on, I would watch I-1. So from Stampy's channel, so you'd understand where we're at. And if you watch the videos, you might get where I'm going, maybe. I have a sort of storyline of how these are happening, but this is technically not happening in the actual canon, so yeah. Not happening in actual canon. For either of them. This is not canon, and I don't expect it to be canon. Because, yeah, it's kind of hard to explain so many spies that you don't see. Yeah. And if you want to know, yes, I put myself in the story. Deal with it. There's a reason I put myself in the story. Because I am part of the story. Yeah. Part of the story, that's a different story that I doubt will ever come true. Be an interesting story, but I don't think that will become true. Yeah. It's interesting. Part 2. Anyway. It had been a few weeks since I had my run-in with Impulse. I had returned to the castle to give Viva Dash the report, saying that I hadn't found anything suspicious with the portal, or anyone that didn't belong in the lovely world. I hated lying to her, but didn't want to put anyone in danger at this point. Viva had shown me the machine she'd been working on, sounding very passionate and hopeful in the mission that it would work. I'd also managed to sneak down lower portions of the castle that they had remodeled time and time again. This time, the room was no longer empty, but full of cells. Cells I knew would be for the fate of any of the target's victims if they chose not to cooperate. Something about this didn't feel right, yet I wasn't sure what I was meant to do in this situation. I knew I had to make sure the next attack that had some sort of level of balance, but it was between Viva and our allies, and Stampy and his allies. Not with the hermits, who were innocent to all of this. They hadn't been the ones who lured their dogs to potential death or the ones who made something and never used it again. They weren't the ones who wanted power or to control things. They weren't even meant to be in this world. What right did we have to force people out of their homeland and make them help us? I knew his target and Beaver Dash weren't perfect, and neither was Stampy or the helpers. This plan, out of everything else, just did not seem right. I was sitting in the bedroom underneath the island. I can't disclose where because the Stampy spies could be reading this. The last thing I want is for them to find it. But I can say that I was staring at the blank wall trying to decide what I was meant to feel. How was I meant to feel? How was I meant to think? What I was meant to do? I needed to talk to someone. But I didn't trust the other spies, knowing they'd probably tattle on me the moment they had a chance, especially if I told them I was feeling reluctant about the plan. Sure, I didn't mind taking over the world and freeing it from this overbearing tyranny, but did it have to be this way? I needed to find balance. I needed to warn one of the Stampy spies. I knew I probably shouldn't, but I felt like I needed to this time. Innocent people's lives were in danger. I couldn't risk them getting all hurt for the cause. I got up from the hard bed I'd been sitting on as I walked to the door. Going down the hall, I climbed out onto the surface. I knew the one place someone would know I would probably be if I was bored or wanted to stir up some chaos. The doghouse. It was the one place I always came back to, joking that I'd steal a dog just to rile up Chris. He fell for it every time. Sometimes I'd almost get away with actually doing it, but he wouldn't let me get that far. It makes me wonder if Stampy stationed him there just to keep an eye on me. I wouldn't blame him. I walked towards the town, which I could see already ahead, glancing over my shoulder, hoping no one would see me. I knew I had my phone on me, so I took it out. Not slowing my pace, I texted something in one of the many channels there, saying that I was going to the doghouse to steal a dog once again. Stampy wasn't on his phone at this time, so I knew he wouldn't see it. He was probably too distracted with other things like building or planning for the next thing to make in the lovely world. There was a lot of planning involved. I watched him in his imagination room or office for hours just trying out different palettes. How did he not see me? That should be obvious. We have a potion master on our side. Why ask such silly questions? Immediately a text came in. An angry response from Chris, no doubt. I caught him in my trap once again. This time, though, I needed his help. I couldn't say that on the phone, though, lest it drew a needed suspicion towards me. Hopefully he'd be a bit more understanding than the other spies. Plus, I could play with him a little bit, just for the fun of it. Sure enough, he was already there at the doghouse when I arrived. No more than 10 minutes later. The look of cold anger in his eyes said it all. He was not pleased in the slightest. Care if we go inside and have a chat? I asked him cheerfully, glancing over at the target, who was watching us. Before I steal a dog under your nose? You wouldn't, Chris warned. How will you stop me this time, I wonder? I asked as I pushed him aside and walked over into the room, which looked almost the same. Ah, where's Luna, may I ask? She's with Stampy today, Chris said matter-of-factly. Are you sure? I tested. Count them yourself, Chris said blandly, as he gestured to the general direction of the dogs. What do you want, Sierra? I need your help, I said matter-of-factly as I looked at the exits, making sure no one was lurking nearby. With what? Chris asked, raising an eyebrow. He was planning something big, I admitted. Something that might put innocent lives at risk. I need to warn you so that at least can be on the lookout in case something happens. How do I know you're telling the truth? Chris asked suspiciously. It was the portal in the doghouse 2 weeks ago, pointed out. He raised both of his eyebrows in surprise. There was? Yeah, why else would I be there? Why have I come here for the past few weeks? I stated. I wouldn't have told you if I didn't know what the target wants to do with them. The target's not doing anything to anyone in that trap, Chris said sourly, narrowing his eyes. You know that's not true. He can do a lot of things while trapped in that bubble column, I said smugly. Then I sighed and added, that's besides the point. Will you help look out or not? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't, Chris said skeptically. Or maybe I should let people know of your trickery and expose you for who you truly are. No, it's not the time. People's lives are at risk, I snapped firmly. You're supposed to be the good guy here. Don't you care? Why would you care? Chris asked, crossing his arms wearily. I don't know. I just do, I said calmly. I guess I don't want to see innocent people get hurt, especially after the doggy clone army plan. No one will get hurt, Chris asked slowly. No one should, if we do things correctly, I said confidently. Please, you need to trust me. I don't know. Chris hesitated. Chris! I demanded a bit harshly. I need your help. Help? The spy mused with his mouth. I also know you're also trying to manipulate me. I can't help it, I chuckled. It's a part of my job. Chris sighed and sighed. Fine, I'll have an eye out for anyone who might need help, and potentially stop you from finding them. Good, I said with a small smile. I knew I could count on you. So, what about the dog stealing again? Chris blunted, changing the subject. Do you think I can get away with snatching one now and just booking it? I pondered. Sierra! Chris shouted as I laughed. I should get back now. Viva will probably be looking for me. I told him as I turned to leave the doghouse. I didn't look back to see what Chris was doing. As I left the doghouse and headed back for the castle, the uneasy feeling slowly fading away as I forgot all about the hermits and the potential danger they were in. All that was on my mind was the mission at hand. I could smell a strange scent of smoke somewhere. When I looked around, I didn't see anything. If I had looked down, however, I would have seen my bracelet that I'm required to wear glow a bluish purple as steam wafted out. It died down a moment or two later as my mind cleared. As I went on my way, I had a mission to complete. Unfortunately, this is going to be the end of the part 2. Yeah, basically this will be part 2 done. And yeah, I will move on to part 3 and all so far. Like, you'll see it soon. Whenever I decide to get it out. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Whenever that might be. Goodbye.